Hi Travel Bees, Lucy here, and welcome back to another week. This week we're going to talk about the 10 states that I've already visited. So if you guys have been here before, you may have heard me say in some of my past videos that in the last 4 years, since 2016, I have been to 14 countries and 10 states. Now, I am very proud of that. It has really changed my life, and traveling has become a part of my life that I would never ever change. I'm so grateful that I've had the opportunities to be able to do that travel, but anybody can do it, and truly it is just about a mindset of saying, you know, it's out there, let's go, let's do it. That's why I created this YouTube channel and my Instagram and my Facebook page and my Facebook group, because I wanted to make sure that I was giving resources and information to other young Americans to travel, not just in the US, but internationally as well, because there's so much to see out there. We're never gonna see it all in our lifetime, but I can surely try, right? So if you're here for the first time, welcome. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please give it a big thumbs up, and I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every week on Sundays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and my goal is just to help give you guys some tools to travel. Now, with coronavirus going on right now, domestic travel has really been a big thing here in the US. So I figured I'd make this video about the 10 states that I've already been to. Now, I have a goal of going to every single state in the US. Now, that's 50 states, and I realized that I have already been to 10, and that's just been in the last 3 years actually. So since 2017, I've been to 10 states. I really have been trying to see as many places as possible. After I went on my big Europe trip in 2018, I really kind of went pedal to the metal when it came to domestic travel in the US. I wanted to start knocking those 50 states down because 50 is kind of a lot. So I was thinking the other day and I was like, well, I've already been to 10, and that's a fifth of the amount of the states that there are. So I figure after every 10 states that I visit, that I share with you guys those 10 states and I tell you about what I thought of each of them. Make sure you guys stay till the end, because I am going to give you a sneak peek into the next trip that I have coming up that's going to hit some of the next states that I'm planning to visit. And as well as I'm going to give you my top 3 states out of the 10 states that I've been to so far. See if you can guess them just by watching this video before you get to the end. And we'll see if you get my top 3 right. Now we are gonna go back in time a little bit, so I'm gonna start with the states that I went to in 2017 all the way up till present. The first state I'm going to mention is my home state, all right? My home state is Florida. And Florida has so many amazing aspects. I mean, there aren't mountains, which I do love, but I've traveled a lot over Florida and seen a lot of the pivotal places here, like Key West, Tampa, St. Augustine. I've gone to the Florida Springs, which are absolutely gorgeous. I've been to West Palm. I've been to Fort Myers. There are so many cool places to visit in Florida. I might have to make a whole nother video on Florida itself and highlight some of the places that I've already been. Now, I'm gonna share some photos with you so that you guys can actually see some of these places that I have been visiting. Now, as I go along with sharing these places that I've been, I'm going to make sure to share some of those photos that I have from these places. Now, while I was traveling, I didn't have this YouTube page yet, so I didn't take a lot of video footage of these places that I've gone to. I kind of was just taking photos because I love taking photos, and photography is something that I really enjoy. So I'm just gonna share some, photos along with, talking about some of the places that I've been when I go through this video. All right, so state number 2 is Louisiana. So I went here in December of 2017 on an extended weekend road trip with my best friend Michaela. And oh God, it was so gorgeous. I loved the drive. It was about a 12-hour drive from where I live in Florida, and it was really gorgeous going through northern Florida and Mississippi and Alabama. But Louisiana was really cool. I honestly didn't take as many photos as I thought I did, so I'll share some of those photos that I do have. but I had some of the best food I've ever had in my entire life in Louisiana. So if you guys go there, you guys gotta make sure that you eat their food, because oh God, it was so good. That true Southern cooking was there. Now, I will say, if you guys go to Louisiana, you have to go to Drago's. It is in the bottom of a hotel on the water, and it is a founding place that founded char-boiled oysters. Now, I wasn't even a huge fan of oysters before, but these char-boiled oysters are so good. If you go there, you will not regret trying them. So that's my tip for Louisiana. But New Orleans was amazing. So that place, Drago's, is in New Orleans. Now, state number 3 is Tennessee. So Tennessee, I actually did another road trip from Florida to Tennessee and the next state that I'll talk about in just a second. But it was gorgeous. Tennessee was awesome. We went to Nashville. I've been to Chattanooga, which is now where one of my close friends lives, and that's actually where we traveled to in October of 2018. So we had a little sneak peek of Chattanooga, and we traveled to Nashville, and Tennessee was absolutely gorgeous. So I actually have been there more recently, but this was the first time that I was in Tennessee, was in October of 2018, and I have been there just a couple of months ago. I went to go visit my friend who moved there, who I went on the trip with. Nashville was really cool. All of the different music and just the culture there was super cool. It was like being in a country music video the whole time in Nashville. It was really cool, and food there was really good as well. I'm going to share some photos from that trip in 2018, but also some of the photos that I have taken near Chattanooga in 2020, just a couple of months ago. Now, number 4, which was on that road trip when we went to Tennessee, is North Carolina. I absolutely love North Carolina. I've been there multiple times throughout my life, but this was the first time that I truly got to experience the Blue Ridge Parkway, which I highly recommend driving as much of it as possible throughout North Carolina. It's absolutely gorgeous. The views that you get are breathtaking. The Smoky Mountains are great, amazing. I love them. Highly recommend going to them. I truly found my passion for the mountains starting in North Carolina, actually. I always thought, and I always had this dream that I wanted to live in North Carolina, and I was like, it's because they have mountains on one side, beach on the other, temperate weather all year round, and the people are really nice there, and they have good food, and I was like, yeah, I want to live in the middle of North Carolina, and I just want to have all of those options. Well, after visiting the mountains in North Carolina, it's still pretty much to this day, I really would love to live in North Carolina one day. That's kind of my whole love for North Carolina. It truly is a beautiful state, and I recommend going there if you've never been there. State number 5 is Pennsylvania. So my brother and my dad are actually from Pennsylvania. My brother used to live up there for a majority of my life. Just recently, he moved to South Carolina. I've gotten to visit Pennsylvania multiple times throughout my life, but the last time that I was there was in December 2018, and I went there for Christmas. It was absolutely gorgeous. Got to see some of the lake, kind of frozen. Really, really cool area. If you've never been to Erie, Pennsylvania, it's really cool. The peninsula, being right on Erie Lake, is really cool too, because on a clear day, you can see Canada right across the lake, and as well as they are actually known to be one of the best places in the US to see a sunset. It's pretty gorgeous there, and there's some really cool places to explore nearby. It's a very short distance to the Grand Canyons, and as well as Ohio and such like that, so it's a pretty cool place. I also have a lot of childhood memories going there because Hank's frozen custard was like a huge thing for my family. It was going to Hank's Frozen Custard and Eddie's Footlongs are like the two places that I had to go when I went to Pennsylvania because my family, like, they were like staples in my family. I have taken probably at least 3 road trips to Pennsylvania from Florida. So I'm actually realizing after planning this video that of the 10 states that I visited, 70% of them I've road tripped to, so that's kind of big. Like, I love road tripping, but I do love flying on planes too. Funny enough, I have my Catch Flights Not Feeling shirt on, my Serengetee shirt, and I love this shirt. I've wanted it for like ever, and I finally got it. I actually got it in one of their mystery tea packs, which was really cool because I always wanted it, and this is how I feel. Catch Flights Not Feelings. But yeah, no, so it's really funny to like look back and I'm like, wow, I've been on all of these road trips. 70% of my state trips have been road trips, which I am not complaining about. Sounds like I might need to do van life soon. Now, number 6 is Oregon, and I went there for the first time in February 2019. Oh gosh, it was absolutely gorgeous. I went to Portland, really cool city, lots to do, gorgeous views, and I rented a car and I drove to the West Coast. I have never been to the West Coast before, the West Coast of the US, and it was gorgeous. I saw the most beautiful sunset I've ever seen in my life with live elk, just grazing in the grass, and oh gosh, it was a beautiful time there. And seeing those trees on the highway on my way to the West Coast, it was like the trees were skyscrapers. It was absolutely gorgeous. I wish I had more time there, and I definitely wanted to explore more. I also saw some really cool waterfalls, Multnomah Falls, which is a very popular, picturesque place that a lot of people take photos of, like on Instagram and stuff, which, by the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, you should. IG is The Traveling Lucy, so follow me. But it's absolutely gorgeous. I loved Oregon. It was amazing. I highly recommend going there. Again, another underrated place. I feel like a lot of people go to a lot of places first before they go to Oregon. Number 7 is Colorado. So I took a trip to Colorado in March of 2019, and that was gorgeous. Never been there before. I went to Denver first, flew in there, and oh my gosh, I do not know how they do not get sick of seeing the Front Range view like every morning. Like, why do people move away from Colorado? I don't know. But it was gorgeous. Just the Rocky Mountains are incredible. I actually didn't think I was gonna really be a fan of Colorado or a fan of like the Rocky Mountains, just because I was so used to seeing North Carolina mountains and seeing the lush green valleys, and just I really enjoyed the lush green vibe. And so when I went to Colorado, I wasn't expecting to really like love the Rockies, but the Rocky Mountains are so cool and they are so dynamic. The hikes that I did there were incredible. And I took a car and I rented a car from Denver and I drove down to Colorado Springs. I actually drove up to Boulder first, did some hiking up there. I was also with one of my other best friends, Tyler, on this trip in March. And so we went to Boulder, then we went down. We were on our way to Colorado Springs, but we went to Red Rock Amphitheater. We went to Garden of the Gods. Absolutely cool. I totally see why they call it colorful Colorado, because it truly is very colorful and very vibrant and an amazing place to visit. Now, next place I went, number 8, was Illinois. Now, Illinois was really cool. I went to Chicago. But me being the adventurer I am, and I like cities, I love visiting cities, but I'm so drawn to nature that like even being in Chicago, I was like, okay, how do I get out of here? How do I get to like nature? So I loved Chicago. There was some really cool aspects that I liked, and I liked how it was so involved. Like they had rivers going through the city, and they had some really cool history there. And it was a really gorgeous city, I will say that. And they really did incorporate a lot of nature within the city, which I did like. So I actually took a trip outside of the city, probably about an hour and a half outside, and went to one of the national parks or state parks. It's not a national park, it's a state park. And the state park is called Starved Rock State Park, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It was really cool. These rocks just carved out of the from water, and then they had some little waterfalls. There weren't many when I went in summer because it had been kind of dry there in that time, so there wasn't much of the waterfall there, but there was some. And then there was a big hike. Really, there wasn't a lot on the drive there. It was very plain, so it was surprising that when I got there, there was so much texture to the land, and it was really cool. Have some cool pictures from that as well. So Illinois was really cool, and I would have liked to actually explore it a little bit more and go further, see some of the other places that there are to hike in Illinois. But I was glad that I got to do that and kind of escape from the city a little bit and get into nature. Now, number 9 is Georgia. Now, I went to Georgia in December 2019, and that was gorgeous. I loved Georgia. I really didn't think I would like Georgia. I don't know why. I've obviously been on a lot of road trips, right? As most of these I went on were road trips. The only ones I didn't go on road trips were the 3 that I mentioned, which was Illinois, Colorado, and Oregon. Those are the 3 that I didn't go on road trips, but everything else was a road trip. And Georgia was really cool. I actually went on a waterfall road trip with my best friend Michaela again, and we saw some beautiful waterfalls in northern Georgia. And I might have to make a whole nother video on that, because truly there was so many that we saw, and I saw it online actually. I saw a waterfall tour that you have to take in northern Georgia. I looked at it and I was like, yep, I'm doing that. And so we did, and it was really cool. I'll share some of those photos, but I have so much from that trip. It was gorgeous, truly it was. And Georgia really blew me away with how pretty it is. It was funny, we were driving through, and then there were a lot of dilapidated buildings, but kind of gorgeous too, because they were in nature and just kind of abandoned, but it was a really cool thing. There was so much more nature there than I expected there to be. And I have been through a lot of road trips, so there's a lot of places that I've been driving through. So I've driven through Georgia multiple times, and I know their cops are crazy. They're can't speed 2 miles over the speed limit. But there is so many places that I've driven through, and I only consider states that I've actually visited, spent time in, because I've driven through all the states up between Florida and Pennsylvania, but I don't consider me visiting them unless I've actually spent time in them. So this is my first time actually spending time in Georgia, not just driving through it, and it was really cool. I would recommend people going to Georgia and seeing some of those waterfalls. So stay around. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, because I might have a video coming up about my waterfall trip there, and you guys may enjoy that. Now, my number 10 state is South Carolina. So I told you guys earlier that my brother moved to South Carolina recently. And again, another state I didn't think I would really like, because I just loved North Carolina. I was like, skip all the rest. I wanted to get to North Carolina. So I've driven through South Carolina and Georgia many times. But South Carolina was pretty gorgeous, actually. I really enjoyed it a lot. I visited Greenville, which is just outside of North Carolina, actually. It's by the border of South Carolina and North Carolina. But it was a really cool place, and I really enjoyed the waterfall that was in the city of Greenville, and just we kind of did some exploring around as well. So it was a cool place, and I definitely want to go back and visit again. I was limited on time when I went there, but it was really cool to kind of explore it a little bit, and I did enjoy South Carolina. And now my brother lives there, so I have a cool place to go to and travel and make that an excuse to go. These are the 10 states that I've been to. I hope that you guys have enjoyed them. I've got some trips coming up and I'm really excited about them. I'm trying to plan a trip right now that's probably going to be to Idaho and Montana, possibly Colorado again, and maybe even Utah. There's probably going to be a 2-week trip that I think I want to do. So stay tuned for that. You'll be able to follow me on Instagram, The Traveling Lucy, and I'll be posting updates with that. All right, guys, I promised you guys my top 3 states out of the 10 that I've already visited, out of the 50 that I plan to visit. So let's see if you guys got any right on my top 3 from the 10 that you've heard about. So number 3 on my top 3 states out of the 10 is North Carolina. It's always gonna have a special place in my heart, but we'll see how, when I go to see more states, how that falters or how that changes. We never know. Number 2 is Colorado. I did love Colorado, and the Front Range view I can never get enough of. It was just gorgeous. And number 1 out of the 10 that I visited so far is Oregon. Absolutely loved it. Beautiful. I really, really wish I had more time there, and I definitely would be back to explore it some more in the future because it was just an incredible state that had so much to offer and so much to do and so much nature. Oh gosh, I was in love with it. Truly I was. So those are my top 3. I want to know if you guys guessed any of my top 3. Leave me a comment below. Tell me what you guys thought my top 3 were. But also, what I want to hear is, what are the top 3 states that you love right now? So tell me how many states you've been to, and tell me what your top 3 are currently right now. I recently shared on my Facebook page a statistic that really shocked me that I learned on one of my Travel Tip Tuesdays that I did, and that was that 54% of Americans have been to 10 or less states. I'm right on the cusp of that, and I definitely plan to change that by the end of the year, so as I told you with my plans. But that's crazy to me that 54% have been to 10 or less states. I mean, we gotta get out there and see our country as well as the world. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys enjoyed this, please make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. It truly does support me and it really makes me feel warm and fuzzy that you guys enjoy my videos. If you have any suggestions on videos that you guys want to hear, please feel free to share them with me because I'm doing this for you, and I just truly love traveling, and I hope that I can help inspire you a little bit to travel outside of what you ever expected that could be possible. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel too. I would appreciate the love. I hope you guys start getting out there and catching those flights instead of feelings. You might catch feelings once you get there though, of those states. But if you guys have absolutely any questions about this video or any of my other videos, please always feel free to leave me a comment. I hope I'll see you guys again next week on Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will see you then. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Bye for now. Bye. In case you guys don't know, I have started a Facebook group on Facebook, and it is to connect travelers and wannabe travelers to help inspire both of them and keep inspiration out there to travel for young Americans. So if you guys have interest in joining that Facebook group, please check out the link in the description and join today so that you guys can start sharing your memories and your travel experiences or ask questions on how to get inspired to go to these places that you want to go to. In case you guys don't know, Travel Bees, that I always mention at the beginning of my videos when I say welcome Travel Bees, that does stand for traveler mixed with wannabe. So wannabe travelers, or people who are travelers and want to help people who want to travel, boom, equals Travel Bees. That is what I love to call you guys, and I hope you guys don't mind me calling you that.